guys, this is Angela with Panda-Kisses Crafts, and I am going to go ahead and do a tutorial today on Parker on the Porch's Tee Caddy Snaptab. Now this is a request, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. So I'm actually going to bring a name in. I can show you what Jen at Parker on the Porch did with hers. So I'm gonna do similar. I'm gonna go ahead and bring a name in. I am showing you how to do it on Embrilliance Essential software. So to bring a name in, you go ahead and go to this A right here. That brings letters in. It will say ABC. Then you need to come over here to the right and click letters. This is where you type in what you want it to say. And I'm gonna make this for my brother-in-law. So I'm gonna do R-I-C-K. And I'm going to hit set, and it's right there. Now, right below it are the fonts. So I click on that, and there's several fonts in here. The software comes with several fonts to begin with. Yours will look different than mine because I have a lot that I've purchased. So if you purchase a BX file format font, you can bring it directly into Embrilliance and load it in here. So you can just select from the fonts right here. If you don't buy a BX format, say you bought PES, then you have to bring in each letter individually and then line them up. So if you're using this software, I highly suggest that you buy a BX format. Make sure when you're buying fonts that it has that, and then all you do, say it's in your downloads or whatever, you just double click on the BX file and it automatically loads into your software. It's really awesome. So I went ahead and typed in Rick. I'm going to move it up a little bit, so I'm just going to pull it and move it up a little bit. Okay, there we go. So that's all I'm going to put on it. So I'm going to go ahead and save this and bring it over to my machine, and I will see you over there. Okay, here we are. We have the design that we just did loaded, and we are ready to go. I have a piece of tearaway on 5x7 hoop, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch the first step, which is the placement stitch. This stitch is just going to tell us how big of a piece of fabric we need to use. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch that, and I will come back and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, this is what the placement stitch looks like. Now you need a piece of fabric big enough to go over this. I'm just using regular old marine vinyl. Nothing special about it. I'm going to go ahead and put that over there. Just make sure that it covers the whole area. And now the next step is going to go ahead and run the little T holes. So I'm going to go ahead and run that, and I will come back and show you what it looks like. Go ahead and run step 2. Okay, this is what those stitches look like, and now we're going to cut the holes. So I'm going to just use my Cricut mat. I'm going to put that down. I got an X-Acto knife, and I'm going to go ahead and just cut a little line in between these stitches, all 6 of them, and being really careful not to hit any of your stitches because you don't want to do that. So I'm just gonna go down here and just do like a straight line all the way through. I'm just doing a couple times to make sure I get all the way through. Such a short little spot that it's not hard to go straight, which is kind of nice. This is going to allow those T's to go through here. Okay, I'll look on the back and see how it goes. So I'm looking on the back to see that it went all the way through, just making sure. I was going to show you if I can get my, see, they went all the way through. And you can double check yours to make sure they went all the way through your vinyl. Okay, I'm just double checking. think we're ready to go back to the machine. Just make sure they went all the way through, and I will meet you back at the machine. Back at our machine, we cut our holes. Our next step is step 3, and it's just going to do that little top part up here, this little triangle part. So I'm going to go ahead and run that, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. You can see that it went ahead and stitched that top point part on the Snaptab. So we are ready. It's on the 4th step, which is actually the last step of this design. And so it's ready to be taken off and put the back on. But we added a name, so we need to go ahead and jump a step so we can get to the name first. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to come down here, and this little needle right here with the plus and minus gives you control of your steps and your stitches. It opens up this screen right here. Now, all the minuses in the numbers and the pluses in the numbers, these allow you to jump forward and backwards that number of stitches within a step. Now, for example, if you only had 10 stitches in step 4, it's going to jump the 10 stitches in step 4, but it's also going to jump the 90 stitches in step 5. So this will go between steps if there isn't this many within a step. But this lets you, just so you know, these let you go backwards and these let you go forward. And you can tell where your machine's going to start because it has this little crosshairs triangle. That's where it's going to stitch next. So you'll be able to tell what you're doing. And the importance of these steps, I don't use them all that often unless I mess up and jump a step when I was really trying to go back stitches. I do that, so I have to move myself around. But where it's most commonly used is if your thread breaks, you do not want to just rethread and then start from where it stopped, because your thread broke several stitches behind before the machine tells you. So if you just start stitching from that spot without jumping back some stitches, you might have an area that doesn't look right. So I know my machine by heart, so when I break a thread, when I break a thread, I have to jump back 22 steps to get back to where I was. And so I would push my -10 twice and my -1 twice, and it would get me back to a good spot to start once I rethread. So that's an importance of using this as well. Other than that, it helps you change colors and stuff too. Like if I wanted half of my design pink and half blue and there wasn't a stop in between them, I could go ahead and use these to give me more control. But that's just a generic overview of what those do. But we're actually going to jump steps, and the steps are these spools. They go forward and backwards, and we need to get to the name because we don't want to put our back on yet. So I'm going to go ahead and do jump a step, and there you can see we are on step 5. This is where we added the name in our software, and that's what we need to stitch next. And the reason you want to stitch the name before you put the back on is because you don't want to see all those stitches in the back of your Snaptab. So you want to add the details first, and this happens to be a detail. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch step 5, which is the name, and I'm actually, this is just normal marine vinyl, and I don't know if you've ever worked with it. It's a little bit hard when you do dense stitches. It kind of sinks in. So I'm going to use water stabilizer for the name because it's kind of a dense stitching. It's just really plastic that helps you hold your stitches up. So a lot of... Okay guys, this is what it looks like. And you can see that the stitches all look really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull the stabilizer off because we don't need it anymore. It was just for the name. And I'll get the rest of that off later. But now what you can do is you can flip your design over onto the back, and you need another piece of fabric. You could put felt back here, you could put all sorts of stuff. I'm using the same marine vinyl on the back as I did the front. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure it's big enough to cover this design. And then I am going to use tape, and I'm going to tape these 4 corners, and I'm going to go ahead back to my machine and stitch the last step, which is, I'm back on my hoop, and when you come back to your machine, it's going to say that it's finished stitching because we brought up that name, which is the last step. So you just need to go back in to your steps, and you need to, it started all the way over, so I'm going to go backwards because it's going to be quicker. There was the name that we just finished stitching. We're going to do the one right before it. Step 4 is the last step of this design. That's what step you're going to want to do as your last step. So we have the back put on, and we're going to go ahead and stitch that step. I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay guys, we are done. There is the front. There is the back. I'm going to go ahead and take it off of my hoop. I'm going to take off all the stabilizer. Take off this tape too. Okay, now we can go ahead and cut out the design. I'm going to cut real close to the stitches just because it gives me a really good guideline. Okay. When I get to the corners, I pull my scissors back and put the tip where I want it to end, and then I press down once, and that keeps me from cutting the stitches. I try to do as long cuts as I can so it's not real jaggedy. Keeps you from having a lot of jagged cuts. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to clean up the back. I have some strings here. You cut those without cutting the knot. Okay. And then I still have some of that water stabilizer in there. I'm going to use this cool little tool. It's called a seam fix, and it has just a rubber top, and it works really well with this water stabilizer. You just push it and it pulls it up for you. Okay, just got that out. I'm going to do this little side. There we go. And I have some, I don't know if my stitches, I'm going to use these. There's some jump stitches in the name. So I'm going to use these little snip scissors. These are really great for getting jump stitches. So you can see I have some in here. And I just cut to one side. And then I cut to the other side, holding it down. So I am just cleaning it up. You may not have these same jump stitches. For some reason the font gave me these. Okay. This is last one. Okay. There you go. There's the front. There's the back. Now I got some tees, and I'm going to show you how you put them in. We made these holes earlier, so you should be able to find your hole, put it in the top, have it come out. Guess I should have got the same color. These are different colors. But there's some tees that go in there, and they fit fine. Okay, now I'm going to get my Snaptab stuff. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to put the tabs in here in the clasp. So I will be right back. Okay guys, I got my stuff. You have this little tool that comes with this, and this is just a Snaptab setter, like a cam snap setter is what it's called. And you're going to go ahead and find the center of this, and you're going to want it far enough down that your cap, this is a cam snap, you're going to put it right about there. So I'm going to go ahead and take this and poke a little hole right there, and it just goes through. And then you're going to want one more hole, center just far enough out that it doesn't cover those stitches. Okay, so on cam snaps, each one needs 4 pieces to work. Okay, so you have 2 caps. These are 20, size 20, and these are the short prong ones. This is the most common one used, so if you're looking to buy these, short prong 20 is what most people buy. And then it comes with 2 other parts. These are the parts that fit together, and one's male and one's female. And this is how you do it. You go ahead and put the cap through, and you take either the male or the female, it doesn't matter which one, and you see how it's poked through. Then you put that in there like this, and they fit together. See how it's coming through? You go ahead, there's an inset on the black part, you put the cap in there, it fits in there, and you squeeze, and it basically just squeezes the plastic part and forms it to stay in there, so it keeps it there. So we're going to do the top one. You're going to put the cap in, you're going to put the other piece, connector, okay, you're going to put it in the inset, and you're going to squeeze. So you basically have it there, and now all you need is a clasp. Sorry, I'm going to get one, hold on. Okay, sorry, I'm not very organized today. I've been making a lot of other videos for something new that's coming out from Parker on the Porch, so I've been doing a lot of videos today, but I didn't have this stuff together. So here's a D, this is called a D LOBSTER swivel clasp. That's what this is called, so that's what I would research. They come a lot of different ways. Mine just pushes like this and it can clip on this stuff. A lot of them have like a little hook right here that you pull and it opens. But this is what you need for these. So you're just going to put it on. And then these 2 pieces fit together. So if you just click them together, you have it. And now it will hang on something. Bag, most likely a golf bag, I would think. But there you go. This is what it looks like. It's super easy to make. It's super quick and very cool. Really great gift. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it answered your questions. And if you have any other questions, please let me know. Thank you.